Hello everybody, how are you today? I wish you a fruitful day. This is a revision for grade 3 with a new question or a new kind of question here with us. We have rewrite the following sentences using the words in brackets to give the same meaning. Rewrite أعد كتابة the sentences الجمل مستخدما كلمات اللي بين أقواس. We have here you should visit Aswan. Use advice. This kind of sentence is to giving advice. We have many types of advice. Here the sentence begins with you should. You should equals you should equals تساوي you had better equals if I were you I would. I advise you to equals it's a good idea too. So we have here 4 types أربع أنواع instead of بدلا من you should. In the sentence you should visit Aswan, we have to use advice. لازم نستخدم advice. Advice هنا يا أولاد begins with a small letter. تبدأ بحرف small. وهذا يعني I mustn't begin with a advice. يعني مش لازم أبدأ بadvice. فيو should إن هو equals I advise you to. فهنا هو I will omit you should. هحذف you should وأقول I advise you to visit Aswan. So, first sentence, you should visit Aswan means I advise you to visit Aswan. The second sentence, it's a good idea to study hard. Use if. We have here, it's a good idea. It's a good idea to. I will use instead of it's a good idea, هستخدم بدل it's a good idea or it's a good idea too. I will use if I were you, I would. If I were you, I would study hard. So the sentence becomes الجملة أصبحت بدل ما it is a good idea to if I were you I would study hard. The third sentence الجملة رقم 3 we will use necessary. Necessary means what? Means ضرورة أو ضروري. You have to go to bed early. Use necessary. Necessary here عندنا نوت you have to. You have to means you have to means it is necessary for object to. You have to go to bed early. Use necessary. So I will replace you have to with necessary. It is necessary for you to. وكمل الجملة باللي بقى عندي go to bed early. This is the third sentence. We used instead of you have to, I used it is necessary. So I must keep, it is necessary for plus object and to followed by infinitive by heart. لازم احفظ ديت بدلا من you have to عن ظهر قلب. The last sentence here we have, it isn't necessary for him to wear a jacket, it's very sunny. This type of sentences is about lack of necessity. What's the meaning of lack of necessity? Lack of necessity هو انعدام الضرورة اللي بنقول عليه ايه؟ لا داعي. We have here doesn't and it begins with small letter. So again تاني مرة in the first sentence or in the middle. أيوة أنا سامع حد in the middle of the sentence في وسط الجملة. فهنا هو it isn't necessary for him هتساوي or equals it isn't necessary تساوي don't or doesn't plus have to. I have to keep this by heart. لازم احفظها عليها عن ظهر قلب. It isn't necessary بتساوي don't have to or doesn't have to followed by infinitive. طيب it isn't necessary for him to wear a jacket, it is very sunny. The sentence begins with what? الجملة هتبتدي هنا عندي بإيه؟ With you, with he, with she. We have here the object. The object here is him. I will get the subject. هحصل على الفاعل from the object him. I can't remember the objects. مش فاكر ال objects. اكتبهم لك. عندنا هنا هو him. It becomes he. Her becomes she. You, them, they, us, we. So we have here him. What shall I begin with? هبتدي بإيه? I will begin with, of course, with he. He doesn't. He doesn't. Alone? No. Doesn't. Doesn't what? Doesn't have. Doesn't have to. So he doesn't have to. What will I omit from the sentence? هحذف إيه من الجملة? It isn't necessary for him to. All these words? Yes, all these words. Because these words means he doesn't have to wear a jacket. And I will complete the rest of the sentence. This kind of questions, we have to be careful with it. Thanks for joining me and goodbye.